Only you are responsible if you tail us. I just make that very clear.
Enough about us, though.
Anyways, if you're considering tailing us, maybe call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's keep it moving. Pop, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Ready to chop it up?
Oh, yeah, it's good to be back. I'm fired up, man. I finally, long week of work. I finally got some good sleep last night, and I'm ready to dial in. But guys, before we get to that, we just want to remind you, this is not officially, but most likely the last week of the Dom and Pop Jane Daniels Commanders giveaway.
Let's hope
sweepstakes. So we need a little over 10 subscribers to reach 500. So guys, if you're seeing this video, you've caught us at the perfect time to enter. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. And then after you hit that subscribe button, send us an email to domandpopgiveaway1@gmail.com with your name, your address, and your jersey size. We're going to also include instructions in the pinned comment. And we just want to say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing these past few weeks and these entries. It's been incredible. I mean, we said initially 500 or the start of the season would be the cutoff, and we're on pace to finish well before training camp. So I think that's incredible. I'm really excited about that, and thank you guys.
Yeah, it's exciting to get the emails too, and
it's been the best part.
Totally unprompted, but people are putting really nice comments in the emails, and can't tell you how much that means to us. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, the emails have been the best part. It's been really cool to hear that. And I mean, guys, that email address will stay open. So if you want to hit us with fan mail or suggestions or whatever, please email in and say what's up. We're always reading it.
There'll be very likely some follow-on giveaway stuff, but let's get to 500 first.
Definitely more stuff coming. We got to shop on that, but we definitely have more stuff coming for sure. Let's get into the topic of today. Pop, rookies are reporting to training camp this week. Can you believe it?
It's unbelievable.
As my cousin Robert once said, man, the days drag on, but the weeks fly by. We're already here. I can't believe it.
Sounds like a song.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like a song. That's I might have to hand that one over to my boss. But yeah, it's some cool stuff, man. I'm very excited about this happening and getting back to football season. I can't wait. So what we're gonna do, we have obviously a load of rookies, a load of draft picks, right? I think what did we end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 rookies added to the squad this year. So we are going to discuss our expectations for each one of the draft picks. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie this in, since we have a lot of new viewers, we're going to give you guys kind of a preview of how we go about the in-game podcast during the regular season. So we got a system here, right? We give out the Sauce Award every Sunday. The Sauce Award is for the best player, the best performance. Now, last year, we didn't get to give out a whole ton of Sauce Awards, unfortunately. But things are going to be different this year. Sauce Award goes to the MVP of the game. So for us, for this segment, if you exceed expectations, you're getting a Sauce Award. Then under Sauce Award, like the honorable mentions, basically, we give out helmet stickers. So you get a helmet sticker if we usually give out 1 Sauce Award and 3 helmet stickers. So maybe you tip a pass or you get a sack at a crucial moment or something like that, right? So helmet stickers is going to be you meet expectations or you deliver the way we hope that you would deliver. And then we don't do meds on meds in this family. We don't do this. Is not a C plus family. This is not a B. This not even a B plus family. This is you bring a B plus in and it's all right. Well, what happened? How do we not get to A? We were almost there. What happened? Right. So we don't do that, but we will talk about what would be like a partial meeting of expectations that still would be disappointing. So ready to get into a Pop?
Yeah, I thought with the rookies, reporting this week, it's going to be so great to see the clips of the practices and the guys walking back in the building. We just eat all that stuff up through OTAs and mini camps, and now it's actually training camp leading up to the season, so it's exciting. But I thought it'd be good to just revisit the rookies now that we've had some time for it to soak in. We've seen a bit of them in the offseason program. What are our expectations for each of the guys? And so, yeah, you set it up great. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, so I am going to go first with Jaden Daniels, right? Is that how we want to start?
Yep,
Let's go
fine.
straight to it. All
Got to
right,
start
so
with Jaden, right?
we can almost do, and we probably will do a whole podcast later on. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but about what are realistic expectations for Jaden Daniels? What do we want to see out of him? We haven't had
Right.
training camp yet. We haven't had preseason. We don't know quite yet. But for me, sauce level, like absolutely just holy crap, we got our guy. This is unbelievable. I think I'd like to see somewhere between 20 and 25 passing touchdowns for me. That would be Sauce Award. That would be like CJ Stroud landed at 23 last year. I know that number sounds low, but rookie quarterbacks just do not put up the type of numbers that you'd expect
All
from
comes
Aaron
down to the
Rodgers.
kind of offense you're running, right?
Exactly. And I'm not going to come out and say, hey, he needs to hit that Sonny Jurgensen
Well, maybe
number
what's
and
more
throw for 30
important than
touchdowns.
not to interrupt you, but maybe what's more important than the passing touchdowns is the total touchdowns.
Sure.
You get some of his legs too, right?
That could be a factor too. Although I don't think he'll necessarily be like, he doesn't have the body type for the like tush push stuff, but maybe you do see some like 2012 RG3 against Minnesota type, like breaking out and he just takes off for 70 yards,
Read option types.
Might be trouble in North Hollywood, California if I see that play.
Well, even inside 10-yard line, right? If you get those misdirections, the quarterback goes around the end, Saw some highlights of him doing that in LSU.
Definitely, yeah. We'll see how that pans out. But I think, let's put it at 25 total touchdowns. That would be Sauce Award for me. So maybe he gets 20 passing and 5 rushing. That would be like, whoa, we're on to something here. What about you, Pop? What's Sauce Award for Jaden Daniels?
Sauce Award, Jaden Daniels, for me, it all comes down to wins. And I think it would be an RG3-esque type season. The fact that it's just, we're putting up 9-10 wins. He looks like the real deal. He looks like the quarterback of the future for, years and years to come. We're all just high-fiving. He stays healthy, which is really important. But I won't put a number on it. But to me, it's going to be wins. It's going to be a 9-10. I'm going to say a better than 500 season, that he really leads this team to a surprise season, much in the same way C.J. Stroud did. And there is an electric feeling around not Jaden Daniels and the team, when we exit the year. That's what I think is the exceeding expectations for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I'm with you on that one. So then where would be a Jaden Daniels helmet sticker? Are you going to stick with wins for the JD helmet sticker, Pop, or are you going to kind of pivot to
I think there's a win element to it, but I think it's just getting through the year, understanding that it's not all going to be perfect, which is probably more realistic, right? Yeah. The meats is what's the more realistic expectation. He starts 17 games. He looks good. He's got, he meets expectations related to the statistical line, 3,000 passing yards, 20 touchdowns. He makes some plays with it. But we see some of the mistakes. We see some of the rookie issues. We see some picks. We see some bad decisions, maybe some concerns around sacks. There's clearly some development still to be done. But again, you kind of end the year that there's no doubt that we're excited about Jaden for the future. So maybe not that electric takeoff type season, but solid. I think that's the needs, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
7-8 wins, in that range.
I think that's exactly right. I think I'm just gonna echo you there on that helmet sticker bit. I think that's perfect. I think that's exactly what you want to look for. I'm gonna add on the helmet sticker thing. I don't want to see any glaring deficiencies. I'm not going to do the Sam Howell dance with Jaden Daniels. Oh, well, if he can stop holding the ball for too long and having bad pocket presence, I don't want to do that dance with him. I want to see, for a helmet sticker for me with Jaden Daniels, I want it to be there are no glaring deficiencies. There are things he can improve on, but there are no things. We saw last year defensive players kind of interviewing and saying, hey, if you take that first read away, there's nothing that offense can do. I don't want to hear about that with Jaden Daniels for him to get a helmet.
No, that's great. That's great. And I would say maybe, too, no drama.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to go from him having 1 or 2 press conferences in the offseason, having press conferences every week, getting criticized when he doesn't play well, but just maintaining, where he's been, continue to be impressive, continue to be professional, continue to work on getting better. No drama.
Yeah.
A little
And
too
for
much of it with Mr. Brandon Ayuk for my like lately.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the outline says touch on it. I don't even want to talk about it because
Let's move
I'm
past
so
it.
inundated
Yeah.
with it. But I think for partially meets expectations, I'm going to keep this one quick here. That one's pretty obvious. We see some flashes, but overall, it's about what you would
There's
expect
still
from him.
doubts. There's still some
Yeah,
doubts.
you're still not sure.
Season.
You're still not sure. That would be partially meets expectations. Is like he's great with his legs, but we're not seeing him get through his reads as fast as we'd like to. He doesn't have command of the offense the way he wants to. Or the other way, maybe. He has command of the offense and he's good passing, but he's a little too reckless with his legs. He's taking too many hits. He's not.
Maybe misses some games because of taking.
Yeah, God forbid. I didn't even want to say that out loud. But yeah, that's where I'm at for partially. Is that kind of the same for you, Pop? And I think we can probably.
Yeah, I think it's like you partially would be okay. Yeah, there's a handful of games you could point to and say, "Wow, that's great performance." But there's too many that aren't that way. So, all
Definitely.
right. But I mean, I think I don't expect to be in that partially meets situation for Jaden. I hope we're talking about when we're doing our end of season awards that he's the Sauce Award winner. It's much more on that first end, the electric side.
Tell you what, I might have a number 5 jersey on debut day, and I might not be the only one with a number 5 jersey. I might get one for Carlo too. I got a whole.
I thought you were going to say get one for Pop.
Oh no, man! The dog jerseys are much cheaper.
This has been good from what you're telling me.
I'm not in the two. I'm not in the 2 jerseys tax bracket.
You heard that, people. Pop's not worth a jersey.
I'm not in the 2. I'll get you a doggy jersey. I'll get you a T-shirt for the same cost as a dog jersey. How about that?
All right, Jane Daniels, number 5 T-shirt.
I got a new football watching buddy for this year. But anyways, number 2, we got not Jaden Daniels. Sorry, we got Johnny Newton, our number 2 overall pick. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He said he knows there wasn't 32 people better than him in the draft, and I agree. And I think pretty much everybody feels that way. I heard Nikki Jabala basically say, look, we are kind of traumatized from drafting players with injury history to try and maximize on value, but Johnny Newton is such a special talent with the amount of picks that they had and the fact that he was there. That is a risk you make any day of the week because that could be like I don't want to, she didn't say this, but from the way she was hyping it up, that could be like an all NFL type of player if it hits with the amount of talent that's there. So I'm all over that. I think for me, helmet sticker with Johnny Newton would be he is getting meaningful snaps in place of Daron Payne and John Allen. That would be my thing is like we're having a real conversation about John Allen being a cap casualty next year or maybe moving on because we've got Johnny Newton and that tackle position is solidified. That would be helmet sticker for me. And that's no disrespect to John Allen. That's clearly the way this team is trying to build, right? And that's what you want. You're
not going to cut John Allen, but that's another conversation.
The way his contract is set up. But anyways, I'm talking at the end of this season going into next year.
I know it's not going to happen.
But the next category, the helmet stickers for me would be kind of what we saw in the Daron Payne before his breakout year, right? A couple flash plays here and there, a couple moments where you go, wow, that looked like an all-world play, but where is that all the time? Maybe some inconsistency. Maybe he misses 4 to 6 games because of some soft tissue stuff or whatever. That would be the helmet sticker, is you get a couple moments. And then partially meets expectations would be he's out there playing maybe like 45% of snaps, 35% of snaps, something like that, and is poised to take over maybe a 65% snap share the next year, but is not quite ready for that this year. That would be partially.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think I'm pretty much right there with you. I think, I expect that if what Nikki Jabala says is correct, Johnny Newton's going to be like a third starter. He's going to be in the
Yeah.
rotation. We're going to see situations where he's on the field with John Allen, Deron Payne at the same time. They've
Yeah.
got different combinations, but he's going to probably get equal snaps to those guys, to exceeding expectations. And if he's the guy they think they are, and what that means for the future, I don't think they're approaching it as necessarily he's a replacement going forward. Although it's good to have that as a backup plan because you never know what the contract situation will be with John Allen. But I
Or
think
injuries.
I think he's going to be like, another starter on that line, and we've heard them talk about that they've got 15, 16, 17 starters. I think Meats, you said it pretty well, that he looks more like a rookie. Looks, not quite, doesn't come out of the gate quite
Yeah.
as strong. You see some situations which unfortunately we're used to with our D tackles last year, where he tends to disappear and you're not seeing that consistent performance, which you would expect out of a rookie. So and I think, partially meeting would be that injury concern. Does he
Yeah.
not start the season? Does that foot a continuous problem throughout the year? Because I think there's no doubt talent-wise. But if that injury problem becomes more of an issue, I would say that's the Parsley Meats there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. For Mikey Sandstrom, I actually have higher expectations than I do for Johnny Newton, and that is for two reasons. Number one, he's a different type of player. This guy was a senior coming out of college. He's played a lot of ball. He's a slot corner as well, which is my second reason, because we have the defensive back masterminds at the helm. We've got Dan Quinn and we've got Joe Witt Jr., and these are the guys that will turn your defensive backs into studs. So Mikey Sandstrom, for me, my Sauce Award, if Mikey's going to get a Sauce Award, we're talking about like really serious, like he has like a
Best corner on the team. He's the best corner on the team. He comes out straight away and it's clear he's the best. He's the best of the corners.
Correct. I think that's not a high bar for what we have right there. That's not to say Benjamin St-Juste doesn't have the talent, because I think he does, but that's not a high bar for what's there right now. And I think for me, if we're going to make a comp to previous great rookie seasons we've seen, tried to say it earlier, but I'm going to go with Cam Curl. If we get a 2020 Cam Curl season out of Mikey Sandstrom, Sauce Award.
Yeah.
And for the helmet stickers, I would say maybe more like what Quan Martin looked like last year, just given that he's probably going to be in that nickel position. He's not going to be on the field as often. But if we see him make some flash plays, I would like to see a little bit better than that.
Builds through the season, right?
Builds through the season.
Yeah.
Exactly. Builds through the season and partially meets expectations. For me, I would say makes a couple of key plays, but we're talking about next year. He's got to be a starter. We got to find a way to get him on the field more. But he's not on the field a ton. Maybe he's not ready to start off at the beginning of the year, and he kind of builds in later on. I don't think those things will be the case, but it's July, baby. It's optimism season.
Yeah, I'm on board with everything you said. I'm not going to, I think your takes were perfect. I think a cool nugget for Mike Sandstrom is the videos of him training with Darryl Green.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Showed on Instagram. Whoever did that edit of the video, if you haven't seen it, look it up. I actually tweeted it out, so you can look it up there through our socials. But that was really cool. But I think I'm right there with you. I think if he elevates to be the best corner on the team, which is certainly possible, that's where that would be the ceiling. And then we've talked about the other stuff. But moving on to Ben Sinnott. I'll jump in there, right? The next one on there. I think tight end 1. That's the Sauce Award, right? If he emerges as the best tight end on this team, which isn't going to be easy to do necessarily. But our future guy clearly, spark talent. To me, that's Sauce. For me, meeting expectations is what you would expect out of most rookies. Probably going to be a recurring theme. Maybe I'd say, what do you think? What Meats would be? 40 catches, 30, 40 catches, somewhere in that range. He's a contributor in the offense. He does some things out of the backfield, but it's not like this. There's still some questions around, do we need to add another tight end? Is he that dynamic type of guy that can be, one of the top 10 tight ends in the league or something along those lines. And then, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the recurring thing on the partially meets is with any of these guys is that they come across as more of a developmental player, it's he's not featured to the degree that we expected he could be featured this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you look at like Logan Thomas, for example, who's a guy that jumped out as a recent tight end, he had 72 catches in 2020 before he got re-signed.
Right.
So I think that like 35, 40
You got
number.
Zach Ertz, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be TE1. So I think that 35, 40 number for the helmet sticker, I think that's about right. I think that's a good barometer there. I was doing a little bit of research. I was looking up like Sam Laporta, who of course had like 86 last year. I mean, he's like a top 5 tight end in the NFL already, right? But I don't think we're going to see Sinnott hit that. My expectations are a little bit lower just because there's still question marks about like, is this guy going to be, to use the 49ers comparison, do we want to use him more like George Kittle or do we want to use him more like Kyle
bit of a hybrid guy. Yeah.
We kind of don't know. Is it going to be more of a Kittle or more of a use check situation? Both will be incredibly valuable, but in terms of numbers, both very different, right? But I'm on the same page as you with Sinnott. I'm good to move on there. This next one, I want to spend half a second more time on Brandon Coleman. Sauce Award for me, starting left tackle, and then we can move Cornelius Lucas to the right tackle, and we can get Andrew Wiley off the field. That's Sauce Award. If at any point in the season, Brandon Coleman is able to start at left tackle, because here's the thing, Luke is good enough that if Coleman is not going to be a top 15 guy, they're not going to put him out there because Luke is serviceable. Luke's not the best left tackle in the NFL, but I think he's better than a lot of people.
He becomes your left tackle of the future.
Yeah.
That's a Sauce Award.
Sauce Award.
At any point through the year, you're locked in and he finishes strong. That's Sauce. Yep. That would be amazing. I think it's a reach, but it's amazing.
Helmet stickers for me is going to be like if he ends up on the right side, which I don't even know if that's in his repertoire, but if that switch happens,
becomes a guard or something.
Helmet sticker. If he takes some meaningful snaps at left tackle, so let's say Big Luke misses a couple games and he comes in and he does all right, but Lucas gets the job back.
Yeah, there's still the potential there.
Exactly, that's helmet sticker. And I would say if he ends up like taking some meaningful snaps at left guard as well, that could be helmet sticker for me. Partially meets expectations. Good preseason showing. We see nothing out of him this year.
He's clearly a developmental guy, right? Yeah. That would be partially meets for me. Is that he was pretty deep in the tackle class, and if it's clear that he's more of a developmental guy, and there's a lot of question marks, which certainly could be a realistic outcome here. I hope not. Yeah. Then I think that would be the partially meets for Brandon Coleman.
This was an incredibly deep tackle class, though. So even though this guy is third round, this might be a second round guy in another year, if that means anything to you. But anyways, for Luke McCaffrey, I think we're going to go pretty quick for these next few, right? Luke McCaffrey, I would say if he becomes a legitimate third threat on offense, Sauce Award.
How many catches?
Second.
How many catches to get a Sauce Award?
I don't have a number off the top of my head.
I think you got to say 50 plus, right?
I would say like over 700 yards. Sauce Award. That would be for me. For partially meets expectations, a couple good plays. Maybe he ends up returning punts or something. I don't know. And for helmet stickers, I'm sorry. Let's say we get a few flashes. Let's see, maybe we get 2-3 touchdowns out of him, a couple clutch catches, a couple real McCaffrey type plays, right? And
well, where this team is at receiver, I think that helmet sticker has to be he solidifies that third spot. Maybe it doesn't show up as a superstar or a weapon or someone that you're super excited about, but really solid possession type guy, but solidifies it. Anything less than that, to me, is going to be partially meets.
Definitely.
To keep it quick and simple.
Yeah, let's move on. I say we do Jordan McGee here. I think for these last few, we just kind of go like Sauce Award and then like what the other stuff would be. Jordan McGee for me, Sauce Award is he ends up linebacker 3 behind Wagner and Luvu, and he supplants Davis, and we probably cut Davis at the end of the year. That would be Well, I guess Davis is going to be a free agent, but we don't even have to think about him anymore. That would be Sauce Award for me. Maybe he gets to start a couple games if somebody gets hurt. Um, Helmet sticker / partially meets expectations. A few good plays, right? We see a couple moments when we go. I'd like to see what he's got left, and that'd be pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I think these next two guys, I agree with you on Jordan. I think these next two guys, just to wrap this up, and you can certainly throw in a comment, but you got Dominique Hampton at safety out of Washington. You got
Yeah,
Javonte Jim Baptiste out of Notre Dame. I'm not sure either one of these guys are guys you're going to be expecting big contributions from in
yeah,
that first year. You never know, especially Jean Baptiste,
Hampton.
because that's a pretty deep group. But
Yeah,
if they make the roster, if they provide some contributions, if you see a spark here and there, if they fill in because of injury and you see solid performance from them, that's about the best you can expect from those guys. I'm not sure we go Sauce, helmet meets, but and contribute on special teams. I think will be really important for a lot of these rookies, which we haven't touched on. Right.
yeah. I think if any of them are going to break out, I agree. I think it's Hampton is probably the more likely out of those two, and I think it is a humble group at safety right now. So
So
there is definitely potential for him to jump through. That's
yeah,
also where you see a lot of injuries in the secondary over the course of the year, just with soft tissue stuff and whatever. These guys are running a lot. So I think Hampton could make a splash, but yeah, let's keep it moving. Pop, what do you say we hit these bottom bets?
yeah, we got a bottom bet segment this year.
Yeah, we got a
This
fun
week,
bottom
you
bet
know it, you
segment
love
for
it.
you guys. So this is
Can't live
like
without it.
this is straight up basically a preview of our in-season content because what we do is we hit you guys in season. We hit you with the pregame and then the bottom bets, and then post-game we hit you with the Sauce Awards, the wrap-up, that kind of stuff, the reaction
Yeah,
content.
it's a good
That's where you
point
get
because we
it.
have
So
so many new subs and new viewers. We always do a post game pod, and then we do a pregame pod. And in the pregame pod is where we give our picks, our bottom bet picks, and we
yeah,
recap the picks from the previous week. It's a lot of fun. In fact, we usually do pretty good. Not saying you want to ride with the boys. We're not going to take any responsibility, but our records have been pretty good on our
we
picks.
both finished significantly over 500 both
We
years.
did.
So
It's going to be a
just
rough year
saying,
now.
just saying. Only you are responsible if you tail us. I just make that very clear. Uh,
Enough about us, though.
anyways, if you're considering tailing us, maybe call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's keep it moving. Bada bets, NFL 2024 Commander Specials. We're talking upset picks. So we're taking, this is a really fun twist. Pop, I gave you your flowers off camera. I got to give them to you on camera too. This is a cool ass idea. I really, really like this. It's very, very cool. Um, we're taking the top 2 or 3 odds off the board. So we got to give you guys the flyers, got to give you guys the value picks. So no boring stuff, no picking the Chiefs or Mahomes to win MVP, none of that. So you want to start with the Commander Specials? That's at the top here. So
Usually that's how it goes. We go from the top down.
I'm making sure. I'm making sure. Let's start with the Commander Specials here. We're gonna pick one. These are all pretty long shot odds. So one, Austin Eckler 10 plus rushing touchdowns for plus 460. Two, Terry McLaurin, little spell check there, 10 plus receiving touchdowns for plus 550. Three, Jaden Daniels 30 plus passing touchdowns for plus 650. And four, Commanders sweep the Cowboys for plus 1,000.
These are
What do you
all
like out
bets
of that one?
on FanDuel. Like they all came straight off FanDuel. So if you want to
There
make
you
these
go.
bets, but
Or
which
DraftKings. We're not signed. We'll take either one, right?
we'll take either one. I think for me, of these picks, if I was going to pick one, I'd go with Terry. 10 plus touchdowns. I think he's the most proven commodity. 30 plus passing touchdowns out of Jaden. Oh my God. That would definitely be Sauce Award
Yeah.
worthy from our earlier segment. Eckler, it could happen, but that's a lot of rushing TZs. I think if it was just 10 touchdowns total, I might feel a little bit better to that because I think he'll be a pass catcher as much as he is a runner. So I'm going Terry with
Yeah.
10 plus touchdowns.
I
Receiving
mean,
touchdowns.
Eckler had 5 last year with no ankles, and he had 13 in 2022. So something to just kind of keep in mind there. I might take
I'd
that
love to see
Eckler.
it. You
I
going
might
Eckler?
take that
I
Eckler
respect
prop.
that.
But I think that is a lot with B Rob there. That's kind of my problem. And I think especially in those goal line situations, you're going to use B Rob to kind of be your battering ram. That's his better skill set there. Is you got 3 yards to get, he'll get you 8.
How sweet would it be if you put 10, $15 down for the Commanders to sweep the Cowboys at plus 1,000?
That's what I was just about to say. I honestly think I might take Commander sweep the Cowboys out of these 4 because I don't see Terry. Terry's a great wide receiver. 10+ touchdowns is a lot, and he's not. We have other options that we'll probably look to first in the red zone than Terry. So
yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know what the offense is going to look like. Are we
Yeah.
going to? I know a lot of us would love to see them feature Terry more, but that comes at a. Are any of the other receivers going to step up enough where teams aren't doubling him and taking him away? You know, we got to see what that offense looks like first before we really know whether that's feasible.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Somebody smarter than me can look up in Kyler Murray's 2019 Rookie of the Year, where pretty much the year why Cliff Kingsbury has this job. Somebody can look up if his number 1 receiver had over 10 receptions, receiving touchdowns.
Well, I'm sticking with my pick. I know you're trying to talk me out of it. I'm sticking with Terry. 10+ touchdowns. You got Austin Eckler.
I got
10+
Cowboys.
rushing
I
talents.
got Commanders sweep Cowboys for plus 1,000.
That's a bold one. You're replacing.
That.
Oh, now I don't know. That's thing. But I tell you what, if Eckler, just to finish my point, if Eckler goes 10+ rushing touchdowns and Terry, we get the Dalpia, Terry goes 10+ receiving touchdowns, I think it's going to be a heck of a year.
Yeah.
All in all for our boys.
I mean,
I respect it. Commanders sweep the Cowboys.
Here's why.
Official pick. Lock it in.
We don't see the Cowboys until November. The Cowboys suck in late November and December. That's when they start to fall apart.
Mainly in January.
That's when we project this team will start to rise. That's when they start to fall apart. So I'm taking it, man. F it.
Old prediction.
Commanders sweep the Cowboys, right? So the next, these are long shot odds, right? That's the whole point. The next one, now we're getting into league-wide stuff. So this is the fun stuff here. So Super Bowl. Obviously, Chiefs, 49ers, Ravens off the table.
Those are the top 3. Yeah, those are the.
We're not gonna read down every set of odds here. All right, but the next, I'll give you the next 3 is Lions, Bengals, Eagles, all over plus 1,200, respectively. Different numbers, but whatever. So what do you take there, Pop? What's out of this list of teams you're looking like? Who do you like for a Super Bowl here at the odds that you're getting?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be one of those top 3. But as much as I don't necessarily like this team because of the Johnson situation and the Commanders, I think I'd got to go Lions. If I had to pick out of this next group of teams, I think I'd go Lions to be the Super Bowl winners.
You could give me plus 20,000 on the Cowboys, and I wouldn't waste $1.
No way. I'm surprised they're
it's never coming back.
Yeah.
I'm going plus 1,400 on the Bengals. I really like what I've been hearing out of Joe Burrow coming into the season. I like where his head's at. I like his focus. I think it's time.
He's got a chip on his shoulder, right?
I think it's time, man. I think the NFL has forgotten how nasty Joe Burrow is. I think there were real Joe Burrow conversations before this injury happened about would you rather. So I'm taking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl there.
Upset picks only in the segment, just to reiterate that for people.
But right. I might put a little scuttle on that for real odds.
You like that?
Those odds are crazy. That might be worth a couple units. Most passing touchdowns. Mahomes, Prescott, Purdy off the board. Pop was pretty surprised to see Prescott up there, but man, they flinged that thing around in Dallas. And he was surprised.
It's amazing when you think the top 3 odds, right? No question, Mahomes, most passing TDs. But the fact that Prescott and Purdy are the next 2 on that board, when you've got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, even, guys like Cousins that can rack up stacks and Aaron, it surprised me a bit to see that be the top 3 other than Mahomes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I like CJ Stroud at plus 1,200. I like Burrow at plus 1,100. And I like, as a little sleeper here, this one's going to be weird. I like Tua at plus 1,700.
Yeah, it's good value there because
Yeah.
the way that offense runs. But who are you going to pick? You only get to pick one.
I just don't want to hurt my brother-in-law and take the Bengals again here. So I'll go CJ Stroud at plus 1,200. I can't do it to my brother-in-law, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, this one's interesting. You know what? I thought about this one. I was trying to think, like, what was I thinking when I wrote this up? I get the advantage of writing it up. I'm going to go Jared Goff. I think
That's a good one.
I think that Lions offense is going to be something else, and they're building, and they've got great weapons. I'm going to go Jared Goff at plus 1,300 there. If I got to pick an upset here.
If that happens, the boy's going to win some money next year.
I picked him to win the Super Bowl, so I got to stay consistent, right?
There you go. If that happens, the boy's going to win some money next year because I got Jared Goff and a guy that we're going to talk about next, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I got both of them on my dynasty team for next year. So if Jared Goff leads the NFL in passing touchdowns, I'm going to win some money. So that brings me to my pick for most receiving yards. Tyreek Hill off the board, Justin Jefferson off the board, CeeDee Lamb off the board. That leaves you Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr. What do you like here, Pop?
Again, it's one of those where, things have changed a bit, but I think Jamar Chase is the forgotten man here. Right? Like, he would have been an easy top 3 pick last season. So I got to go Jamar Chase on plus 1,400 for the upset pick here.
Now, this is hypocritical of me in picking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, but traditional betting logic will tell you not to bet on injury optimism, which is what you're doing when you take anything related to the Bengals going into this year because you just don't know. However, I agree with you on that Jamar Chase pick.
Is there any indication that Burrow's not 100%? I've seen no indication that he's not.
We've never seen an NFL quarterback suffer this type of risk break, so we just don't know.
Put one of those bowling things on it and sling it.
It's the main mechanism for which he throws.
Toughen up, man.
Yeah, so if y'all want any idea what it was like growing up in the Donald Pop household, Pop just said Joe Burrow got to get over
Take that thing up and get out there.
There it is, man. There it is. So I got Amon-Ra. I'm going to stick with my boy here. I'm going to go Amon-Ra plus 1,000 just because he's a target hog, dude. He's going to get 8 to 11 targets every game consistently. Although I do like A.J. Brown if I didn't think that Eagles offense had a really good chance of falling apart. But plus 1,000 for Amon-Ra is also juicy. So you want to do most rushing now, Pop?
Let's do it.
McCaffrey off the board at plus 800. Henry, I think this is too high for Henry, off the board at plus 900. Hurts off the board at plus 1,000.
It's interesting, a quarterback in there in the top 3.
Lamar is going to get a lot of rushing yards in that offense too. There's just only so much rushing yards to go around. Then you've got the next few off the board that we would be
rushing TDs. Rushing
TDs. That's different. Then I definitely have Henry in there at plus 900. I like that. I actually think that's really good value, and I would probably bet on that in real life. You got Kyren Williams plus 1,600, Jonathan Taylor plus 18, Josh Allen, Breece Hall, David Montgomery. I'm assuming the no last name there, but David at plus 2,100, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and Joe Mixon. I'm going to go Breece Hall here at plus 2,100, and I would love to see what the odds are for Travis Etienne. I'm sure they're even longer than that, and I might consider that as well. But I'm going to go Breece Hall.
Yeah, this was a tough one. There wasn't anyone that really jumped out at me. Saquon could be scary with the Eagles, but I'm not going to pick him just because he plays for the Eagles, which is kind of dumb. But he's one that jumps out at me. That's pretty good value at 2,300. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a monster in that offense. But I'll go John. But the fact that Jalen Hurts could take a lot of TDs away from him, and they got that tush-push situation, maybe that hurts him a little bit. I'll go Jonathan Taylor at plus 1,800. Colts have a really good team with Anthony Richardson coming back. I'll go with Jonathan Taylor.
What do you think, man? Cliff Kingsbury gets a little frisky. We're up 48-3 on the Cowboys on November 3rd, and we stick John Allen in there at fullback to
Hey,
do a
let's
little
do
one
it.
of these.
I like it.
Why not?
Like
Why
the
not,
old
right?
days with the fridge.
Yeah. MVP odds. You guys know who I'm going to pick here. You got Patrick Mahomes at plus 500, Josh Allen at plus 800. We're taken off the board. Then plus 1,000, CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow, same thing. Lamar Jackson plus 1,400, Jordan
No
Love
love
plus
for
1,400.
Lamar. Defending MVP.
I think it's just because of how hard it is to go back to back. I think if he didn't go MVP last year, you would obviously have to have him in the top two, maybe top three. But what do you got here? I mean, Stroud, Burrow, Jackson, Love, Hurts,
I'm
Purdy,
going with the
Herbert.
first non-quarterback that's on the board. I'm going Christian McCaffrey at plus 5,000 to be the NFL MVP this year.
Lit your money on fire. Not that it shouldn't
Why
happen.
not?
It's just because it's the NFL quarterback awards, man. It's the NFL quarterback awards. McCaffrey's got more.
If he comes out and has a breakout year, he had a heck of a year last year. The only question is if he stays healthy.
That's
I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. Tired of the quarterbacks winning the MVP.
That's my thing with McCaffrey is like he just had an incredibly unsustainable year in terms of how good he was last year, and that's even if he stays healthy, you would.
That's who he is, though.
I don't know.
That's who he is. We saw what he is.
I agree.
He's the best running back in the league.
He's an incredible football player. He's a top 10 football player in the NFL, without a doubt. I think he's incredible. But I just think if he didn't get MVP last year, he's not going to get it. That's my take because I don't see how he's going to be any better than he was last year.
I'm sticking with my
upset picks. That's fair.
Who you got?
Out of these upset picks, I like Jordan Love at plus 1,400. I think the Packers win 11, 12 games I'm not saying I think this is what happens, but if the Packers win 11, 12 games this year, Jordan Love takes that next step. Jordan Love is going to be MVP. The NFL loves nothing more than when the Green Bay Packers are good and the Green Bay Packers have a good quarterback. It's just what they do, and I think you see him become MVP this year. I think CJ Stroud is a good pick as well, though.
Now, just so our insider doesn't go on a rant, the smart pick here, I really believe the smart pick here is Lamar. The fact that Lamar isn't in that top 3 or 4 is crazy. I think the smart pick would be Lamar because I think he's going to come with a chip on his shoulder too because people are saying he can't win the big game. So I don't think he's riding any coattails from last season being the MVP. I think he's going to come out smoking this year.
You know I really believe that. You know what the smart pick is? And the insider's going to jump through the TV when I say this. You know what the smart pick
Joe Burrow.
is? Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is the smart pick.
The insider likes Brock Purdy. I'm the Brock Purdy doubter.
Well, because I'm taking him over Lamar, but I just think the odds that the 49ers win 14 games this year and Purdy continues to do what he does and he gets the MVP, I think those are higher than the NFL picking a guy for back-to-back years. Not saying Lamar is not a better football player than Brock Purdy, but that's where I'm at. I say we wrap this thing up, Pop. What do you think?
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Just like hopefully the Commanders' offense is going to be this year. We got through a lot of content efficiently. Dom was calling audibles there under the thing. He was calling protections out. Yep. You got through it. I love it. You had a little bit of a rant you wanted to do. You want to get into that real quick? 60 seconds. You get 60 seconds on the clock. 60 seconds.
All right, here we go. So,
Kick-Tots of the week.
Kick-Tots of the week going to RG3 over stirring up more name drama related to the gold pants coming back. I understand people are going to talk about it, and I understand RG3. The most important thing to you when you go to bed every night is how many people thought about me today. I get it, but let's not do that, man. Let's not do that, man. I think that's really dumb. I think that's a waste of I just don't like if you want to claim you love this fan base and you want what's best for us, why are you trying to stir the pot by saying, oh, it's a Commander's safe space? No, you're not. You're starting trouble so you can get interactions on Twitter. I really respect RG3. I really like him. I was probably a little strong when I said about him earlier, but I can't get behind that, man. I can't respect that. That's it. 50
You're not
seconds.
into all the name change drama.
I'm not into continuously stirring up drama on Twitter for the sake of further dividing the fan base so that you can get clicks. With the extra question, it took me 63 seconds, but
You
I
did
was
it.
under.
Killed it.
Wrap this thing up. Guys, if you've been here this long, hit subscribe, join the giveaway, run the podcast back one more time if you're watching it on Thursday.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. If you're watching it on Thursday, go back to the full-length podcast on Monday. Check that out. There's more good stuff back there. Guys, without further ado, let's wrap this thing up. I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
And thank you for another great weekend.